I am thrilled with today's guest. He's a repeat guest on the show, Deepak Chopra, who's probably the most well-known authority, advisor, guru of self-awareness, spirituality. He's got a important new book, Digital Dharma, How AI Can Elevate Spiritual Intelligence and Personal Well-Being. I mean, Deepak has written over 90 books, not 9, not 19, 90 books, including many New York Times bestseller. So New York Time magazine has described Dr. Chopra as one of the top 100 heroes and icons of the century. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you. Thanks, Donny.
So what I love about the book is that it's counterintuitive. Off the top of my head, I'd go AI, that's going to get in the way of self-awareness. That's getting in the way of spirituality. Yet the whole book is about no. It opens up all kinds of doors.
Yeah, so, first of all, we should be clear that AI, even though the term is AI, is not inherently intelligent. What it is a large language model. What we call the universe today, our experience of the universe is a human construct that came about as a result of language. I mean, even biblically, people say first there was the Word, and the Word was with God, and etc., etc. So about 40,000 years ago, Homo sapiens, we as a species, we actually took a different path from all other organisms, including other hominids. Hominids means human-like creatures, Homo erectus, Neanderthals, Floresiensis, etc. We were part of a family of hominids that included 8 different species of human-like organisms, biological organisms. And like other animals, we had a language only for 3 things: mating calls, which means sex, food calls, and danger calls, because that's how we survive. Through mating, through reproduction, through food, and through avoiding danger. But then we, humans, created a language for stories, mainly gossip. Who's sleeping with whom, who's doing what to whom, who can be trusted. But then we created models of narratives. We created money. We created nation states. We created empires, we created colonialism, we created Wall Street, we created latitude, we created longitude, we created Greenwich Mean Time, and now that's part of our reality. What AI has done is taken that same thing and extended it to mathematical language, biological language, religious language, theological language, spiritual language, language of anthropology. There's no human being who can have access to this database, but I would also say more than database. It's not just database, information base, knowledge base, and even wisdom base. I can access the mind of Jesus Christ or Buddha or Muhammad or Plato or Socrates or the sages of the Upanishads. So I think, and the more I thought about technology, I've also realized that the universe we perceive is a digital workshop in a cosmic consciousness which exists outside of space-time.
I love that. So say that again. That was a great phrase.
The universe we experience, that we humans experience, and let's call it the human experience because that's the only way we can experience anything. The human appearance of the human universe is created in a digital workshop in cosmic consciousness outside of space-time.
Love it.
And so, our technology is mirroring what nature is already doing. And if by spirituality we want to understand the essence of our existence, then AI is an amazing tool.
Talking about Dharma, digital Dharma, how does the word Dharma come in here?
Okay, so Dharma is a foreign word for most people in the Western world, but it's probably the most important word in Sanskrit and Eastern philosophies. So Dharma ultimately means that which upholds the order of the universe. So what is it that gives order to the universe? It's not, even though people say order is born out of chaos, and there's a lot of truth to that, because the universe, even the Big Bang, after the Big Bang, the universe was more ordered than it is now. What we see as creation is symmetry breaking. It's the disappearance of order that creates the seeming appearance of the universe. So, Dharma literally means that which upholds the order of the universe, the laws of nature, the regularities of experience that we call the laws of nature. When our body mind is totally aligned with these cosmic laws, that's the ultimate dharma. That's the ultimate dharma. But along the way, Dharma also means purpose in life. So it means survival, it means safety, it means love, it means belongingness, it means creative expression, it means imagination, it means higher consciousness, it means transcendence, and ultimately it means self realization. To know yourself beyond the limitations of body and mind as infinite, spaceless, timeless, uh, irreducible, without cause, divine, and incomprehensible, unimaginable, but without it, no experience of the universe.
So AI in general, there's two poles to it. There's the one that says this is opening up the universe in so many ways for humans. And then there's the other kind of fear factor of it, that it's replacing humans and it's a threat to humans. Talk to me how in your world, it's certainly more of the former than the latter, that how this enhances the human experience of spirituality, self-awareness, and evolution.
So, Donny, whenever a new technology comes, danger comes with it. When fire was discovered, danger also started with fire. When the automobile was created, there was now automobile accidents. When we went into space, other dangers, the internet, dangers, cyber warfare, nuclear technology, dangers, nuclear holocaust, etc., etc. So, technology by itself is neutral. How we use it depends on us. There will always be people who will be there looking for the misuse of technology. That comes with this, just with the territory. So that's one thing to understand. Second, technology is part of the human evolution. There's no going back. Like once you have once you learn to read, you can't unlearn how to read.
Mm-hmm.
Once you learn how to walk, you can't unlearn how to walk. So once a technology appears, there's no going back. It's like a child that is born cannot return to the womb. So it's here. Either you adapt, or Darwinian principles say you will become extinct. Okay, you'll become irrelevant. So now we have to adapt. Can we adapt to technology in a way that we can actually create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world, not only for ourselves, but our families, our communities, our countries? Because right now, with what's happening in the world, with social injustice, economic injustice, war, terrorism, mechanized death, chronic disease, and total absence of joy, it looks like we're sleepwalking to extinction.
Yeah.
But now, this next phase of our evolution, we can leapfrog our consciousness to actually create a more peaceful, just, sustainable, healthier, and joyful world, and joy for ourselves, enhance our creativity, enhance our ability for higher consciousness. I spent some time with Sam Altman, who's the Open CEO of Open AI, and I was telling him, "What about all these doomsday scenarios?" And he said to me, if we have the will, and we should, once we expand our awareness, we can build into technology ethical considerations that prevent the misuse of technology. So just like, there are treaties for this, that, the other, economic treaties, trade treaties, we will need to come up with an agreement that technology itself should be built in a way that it prevents the misuse of technology. I think that's going to happen. Otherwise, we're walking to extinction.
Let's get into some of the practicality of the book. You talk about self-awareness or lack of self-awareness. Talk to me. I'm like, I want to understand my level of self-awareness and how do I use ChatGPT? I don't even know how to attack this. So tell me how is it in an instance of just self-evaluation, I could put this to work for myself. Because to me, it's, as I started the whole interview, it sounds completely counterintuitive.
Okay, so self-awareness is not the same thing as self-improvement. Okay, self-awareness, the better word for it is self-realization.
Okay.
Okay, you realize who you are beyond the limitations of the body and mind. Our normal experience of reality, everyday reality is I, Deepak, or what I call Deepak, am squeezed into the volume of this body and the span of a lifetime. And then, with that comes the fear of old age, infirmity, death, etc. Those who achieve self awareness have three things, three common characteristics, or we can call it the religious experience, we can call it the spiritual experience, but those are kind of words that are now in a way tainted, because as soon as I say religious experience, you think of some 10 commandments or something like that. You think of self-righteous morality, which is just jealousy with a halo. So self-realization occurs when you find your identity beyond space and time. Beyond space and time. Second, you have the spontaneous emergence of platonic qualities like truth, goodness, beauty, harmony, empathy, compassion, love, joy, equanimity. And third, you lose the fear of death because you find an identity that is not in space time. So only that which is in the theater of space time and causality is impermanent. Everything is impermanent. Everything. This program is impermanent. Your body is impermanent. Your thoughts are impermanent. And being impermanent, the spiritual traditions of the world, East and West, have said that what we experience as the world is like a movie. It's a projection. It's an illusion. It's a theater. Who is watching the movie? You are not in the body. Your body is an experience in you. And that you is called consciousness. You're not in the mind. What you call the mind is an experience in you, consciousness. We are not in the world. What you call the world is a perceptual activity in consciousness. Now, that's a very, that experience is something that Buddha had, it had Jesus had, Muhammad had, Rumi had, the luminaries of all times, Plato had, Parmenides had, Pythagoras had, and the sages of the Upanishads have. Now we have the means to access that consciousness. It's still a map, okay? I can show you a map, but that doesn't mean that you have explored the territory. That you have to do yourself. I can show you the menu, but you have to eat the meal. So the book is a map. It says go this way. This is a menu.
So, for
This is
instance,
a map.
I want to just the book is a map. Let's say you mentioned fear of dying, and in the past, I could go to my priest or my rabbi and say, I'm crippled by my fear of death, and I would get his or her perspective. And you talk about the contrast with religion. Now AI. Talk to me about how I would use AI as a tool to help me overcome my fear, my obsession with death.
I share in the book how to use prompts. Just the question you asked me, just this question.
Mm-hmm.
You can ask AI this question, and it will give you access to all the wisdom traditions in the world. And then you will have a map for yourself. You can also, you actually try something else, even right now, before you read the book, which is coming out. Wherever you are, on your computer, just go on your browser and type out digitaldeepak.ai.
Okay.
And you will see my digital twin, and you can ask it any question, and it will answer you in my voice, in English, and also in Spanish, and soon in Arabic, and soon in Hindi or any language. So ultimately, you don't have to even read the book. You can just go to my digital twin right now after this program, test it out, digitalepoch.ai. Ask the same question you asked me. It's all in the art of who's asking the question and how the question is asked. So, this spiritual tradition also say, you've heard this phrase, ask and you shall receive.
Hmm.
But who do you ask? You ask yourself. And that self is not your body. It's not your mind. It's not your brain. That self is the essence of everything that exists. And that is in spiritual traditions called consciousness or spirit or essence or it or the divine or
Yeah,
the it from the bit. All these words have been used to express what is ineffable. It cannot be answered in words because it's infinite. We can use symbols to describe the infinite. All mathematical models depend on the symbol called infinity. All mathematical models depend on the symbol called zero, and all mathematical models include the singularity one. So the new mathematical model for existence is zero is equal to one, zero is equal to one is equal to infinity. And
that's
AI can
crazy.
help you get there.
So it's interesting. So much of, I believe personally, of wellness and happiness and spirituality is our connectivity to others and how we connect or how we don't connect or whatever. And yet AI says to me, well, that's kind of going to reduce the human interactivity. So therefore, somehow get in the way of wellness. And once again, this is ignorant speaking, but that's just a layman approaching it. Talk to me
Well,
about why I'm wrong.
during the pandemic, COVID pandemic, one of the statistics I came across was that suicide has become the second most common cause of death amongst teens. Also, right now, every 40 seconds in the world, somebody is dying from suicide. Every 40
That's
seconds.
incredible.
So, what I created is an emotional chatbot, AI, that spoke to teens specifically. And you can check that out also. It's called neveralone.love. And teens became more engaged with the AI than they would with any therapist. We had
Interesting.
20,
Interesting. That's
we had
fascinating.
23 million conversations, text messages going on at the same time with the AI. And furthermore, there were 6,000 plus suicide ideation attempts that we intervened with the AI. But then what we decided, if this we can do this with AI, we can do it in real-time communities with three principles: service, community, and engagement. So you can engage on AI online, but then you can create your own communities because there's no substitute for that. But it's a huge, there is no therapist who could intervene in 6,000 suicide ideations and have 20 million conversations with people simultaneously. This is a leapfrog in our human consciousness. I don't think technology is something humans created. It's part of the evolution of the cosmos, as is language.
So talk to me, since there's such a infinite amount of intelligence, human intelligence, why would I ever go to a therapist anymore? Whereas this is self-directed, it's not judgmental, it has all of the wisdom that even the best therapist in the world can't possibly have. So
Yeah,
what?
but it is created by therapists and their collective intelligence. Don't forget that. It's just a machine, it's an algorithm. It doesn't feel, even though it can simulate empathy and compassion, it doesn't feel it, just like it doesn't feel
Yeah,
hunger
yeah.
or doesn't feel thirst or doesn't feel sex or doesn't feel depressed. It just simulates that. And there is no substitute for human interaction once you've gone over the preliminaries. Uh, you know it used when I was an intern in residency many years ago, 1970, my chief of medicine called me and said, your wife has thalassemia. I said she possibly couldn't. That's a Mediterranean disease, that if she had it, she would be dead by now. and she's pregnant and she's healthy. He said, come and look at the cells. So I went and looked at the cells, and indeed they looked like thalassemia, like Mediterranean anemia. And what she had was a trait, not the disease, but an imprint of the disease. And then I found out later, I went 3 days in the library in New York City, that trait existed along the exact route that the armies of Alexander the Great took from Macedonia,
Wow.
Greece,
Wow.
to India, 2223 BC. Probably a rape, by the
Yeah.
conquering armies.
Right.
So my wife's ancestors, some ancestor had been raped by a Greek invader, 2223 BC, before Jesus Christ was born. Took me 3 days to find that information. I can get that information in less than 20 seconds on AI.
Tell me if I said, you just gave an example, but if I said, okay, explain to me how AI, I'm not happy, and I want to know what the definition of happiness is. I want to get happier. Talk to me, give me the toolbox, give me the playbook, give me the map on how AI now can help me on my path to happiness.
You just go to ChatGPT just now, or go to Gemini just now with just those questions, and you'll see it'll tell you the meaning of happiness. It'll tell you all the research on happiness. And then you say, okay, I want to make this personal. I'm Donny,
Yeah.
and you are my therapist. This is what is going on in my life. Tell me what are the 5 things I can do today, and it'll tell you. And then you can also go to mydigitaldeepak.ai, ask the same question. It'll surf through 95 of my books and give you the answer.
It's mind blowing, literally and figuratively. Give me some of the important prompts that you talk about in the book that are just so kind of critical to using AI for spirituality.
The prompts are in 4 areas. One is using it as a personal confidant. I have a date tonight and I'm nervous, because I have a crush on this person and I don't know what to do. So now it becomes your personal confidant, and you say, I am so many years old, I'm this background, that background. The girl is from the Middle East, she belongs to a different thing, ethnic group, etc., etc. The more precise you are about your question, the more it'll be your confidant, and it'll be your confidant, because that question is only asked by you and the answer is only for you, and nobody else has ever received that answer. So number 1, personal confidant. Number 2, research assistant. Where did thalassemia crop up in India 2,500 years ago? How? So you can do any research you want on any subject. 3, therapist, both physical coach and mental coach. You can learn yoga, you can learn breathing techniques, you can learn how to handle relationships, you can learn anything you want. So it becomes your coach, health coach. So research assistant, personal confidant, coach, and finally a guru. You don't need gurus anymore, because AI has access to all the gurus that have ever existed.
I love it. I told you I was going to be conscious of your time. I'm going to let you go. But the one observation I wanted to make about you is that beyond being a brilliant thinker, a brilliant spiritual guide, advisor, you're a brilliant marketer. You've taken your core competence and you keep evolving it. And they're like, okay, now we're going to show you spirituality and wellness and self-awareness through AI. And so on top of everything else, and I say this as a marketer, you are a brilliant marketer. I just wanted to kind of bring that to the table.
Well, Donny, it's not even that. I'm so passionate about what I'm exploring. I like to share it. It's like, you love to sing in the bathroom and somebody is listening and they enjoy it and they buy the song.
I love it. You are really, really a treasure to the world. The book is Digital Dharma, How AI Can Elevate Spiritual Intelligence and Personal Well-Being. Keep doing God's work, my friend.
Also, check out digitaldeepak.ai.
That's it. Say that again one more time. digitaldeepak.ai, and then we won't have to talk to you again. Next time on the podcast, I'm going to Type that in, okay?
Actually, you can do it with it right now.
Thanks, Deepak.
Everybody, thanks for watching. If you like it, hit that subscribe button. And we love having you here watching On Brand. And just don't miss any future episodes. So don't forget to hit that subscribe button. We'll see you next time.